left or right? Nika Benington.
Toastmaster. Welcome, Toastmasters. This is my first meeting at this level, so I'm very much impressed. Thank you for being here. Left or right, in the political sense, are not new terms. I think we inherited that from the French Revolution, where they tried to illustrate different points of view in the political battle. And we've inherited that. It's still rife today. But I wanted to know, what is the definition of someone on the left, a leftist, and what is the definition of a right-winger? I asked them. I went to the left and I said, what defines someone on the left? Well, I'll tell you what we stand for. No, I want a definition. More taxes, bigger government, perhaps a little liberal, collectivism, and depending on who you ask, even communist and anarchist. But a definition? No. I asked those on the right. Give me a definition of a right-winger. I got some more hand-wringing, more thinking and humming and hawing. Individualist. Lower taxes. Smaller government. Conservative. Capitalist. And depending on who you ask, even a fascist. A definition? No. So I asked a centrist. What is the definition of a centrist? Figuring that perhaps, if I get this definition, I can figure out the other two. And I asked them, what is the definition of a centrist, politically speaking? Oh, that's easy. We're halfway between left and right. So what a state of confusion are we living in? But there is one actor in this play we haven't asked. And that's the conservative. So I asked him, what defines a conservative? And this is what he said. A conservative is someone who is subject to and voluntarily obedient to a well-publicized, easily understood, universally accessible set of principles and precepts. I said, like what? And he said, like the U.S. Constitution, for instance. But that's a doctrine, a set of beliefs that you are describing. Exactly, he said. I disappear, and I become an image bearer of that set of principles, that doctrine, once I voluntarily subject myself to it. Now that sounds as if I'm abandoning, giving up my individualism by saying I disappear, I only become an image bearer, a messenger, so to speak. But within the four corners of that doctrine, my individualism comes forward. And it becomes cast, remolded into the four corners of that doctrine. And from that doctrine, all the laws of the land are spawned. And I become an image bearer not only of the U.S. Constitution as an American, I become an image bearer of the state of California because I'm voluntarily subjecting myself to the doctrine or the laws, if you will, or the principles and precepts of the state of California, as I do with the city in which I live, as I do with the local municipalities' ordinances. But that's not only the laws that I'm talking about. A conservative is also defined by the voluntary subjection to the social organizations that I choose to belong to, like my golf club or my tennis club, or Toastmasters for that matter. Toastmasters, too, has a doctrine to which we should be obedient. And violation of that, persistently, could cause expulsion, as it would your golf club, your tennis club, or you can be thrown in jail if you keep on doing that with the state's laws. And what does that expulsion mean? We see that there are threats of promises, and there are promises of threats and promises of rewards all throughout this entire doctrinal scope of things that regulates our lives. This expulsion means that the people who voluntarily change when the doctrine changes, or when they violate their change, it makes it more noble. It projects that image of nobility and integrity, that we are individuals who subject ourselves to that well-known, universally acceptable set of principles and precepts. So would it be more noble for me to move to the left to compromise? What is more noble than that? I am not that. I am what is in the doctrine. Or to move to the right to compromise. No, we have to be honest image bearers of that what we voluntarily subscribe to. We must be that light on the hill that shines, that people can see. This is what we mean. This is who he is. This is how he responds. This is what it means to be an American. This is what it means to be a Toastmaster. We need to be that light that shines for everybody to see. That makes us noble. That gives us integrity. That is just